The birth of the Guild. Since long before the founding of the Galactic Republic, countless bounty hunters have prowled the galaxy, tracking acquisitions. Although many hunters operated alone, many also formed alliances. Whether these hunters teamed up to tackle a single bounty, or to cooperate with other law enforcement agencies within specific areas of space on an ongoing basis, they knew the advantage of strength in numbers and dependable reinforcements. Historic records indicate various incarnations of the Bounty Hunters Guild over the past 25,000 years. The earliest records date to go shortly after the formation of the Galactic Republic, with a guild in the Kashyyyk system. This guild is essentially a social club for Trandoshan hunters and their sons, but Trandoshans take great pride in the fact that their guild was the first. Over the course of centuries, hunters from other systems formed guilds, and some of these guilds, including the Trandoshans, became affiliated with the Bounty Hunters Guild. Although this guild operated more like a coalition of associations than a unified professional organization, historical accounts describe this group of hunters as notably efficient group. Guild members occasionally worked alongside Jedi. These partnerships include numerous hunts during the Great Hyperspace War. Some remote civilizations developed the mistaken idea that bounty hunters served the Jedi. A false perspective of that guild must still correct from time to time. The guild did not encounter any significant competition until it began losing Neimoidian contracts to gank mercenaries. Although the situation created greater solidarity among the discipled members of the Bounty Hunters Guild, some younger guild members took inspiration from the gank mercenaries and began secretly selling their skills to the highest bidder. Eventually, many guild members were openly advertising themselves as soldiers for hire, and an alarming number gave no thought to matter of honor or dignity. By the time of the Mandalorian Wars, the guild's organization was so fractured and compromised by mercenary activity that the guild's leader, the Trandoshan Vosk, quit in disgust. While the guild was still splintered by mercenary factions, an independent human bounty hunter named Callow Nord came into prominence during the Jedi Civil War. By all accounts, Nord appeared harmless, but he was in fact deadly. Sold into slavery by his own parents, he was only a young man of 16 when he killed his slavers, then tracked his parents down and killed them too. A bounty was placed on his head, and Nord killed every hunter who came after him. He became a bounty hunter himself, and in a matter of years, his name was the most feared in the Outer Rim. No one ever disputed the widely held belief that he silenced more people than the Iridian Plague. Rumor had it that Nord was killed on Tatooine, but his legacy cast a wide shadow over the profession of the bounty hunting. Centuries later, the guild continued to have a difficult time convincing civilians that not all hunters were Callow Nord. After the Battle of Ruusan, which left scores of Jedi Knights and their Force-using Sith Lord enemies dead, there occurred several notorious conflicts between undercover Jedi and bounty hunters in the colonies and Inner Rim. Unfortunately, all the conflicts took place while the Jedi and the bounty hunters were unwittingly pursuing the same criminals. Subsequently, the Galactic Senate proposed that bounty hunters should follow the example of the Jedi Order and create a governing body to organize themselves and communicate more openly with other law enforcement agencies. Many independent hunters scoffed at the idea of organizing under a ruling body, but 4 influential clan members were quick to recognize the practical aspects of some kind of union. These leaders were Thrask of Transdosha, Tisu of Rhodia, the Twi'lek outcast Saya Kisi, and Kirkim Pon of Corellia. Banding together, they wrote the Bounty Hunters Creed and founded what was then called the New Bounty Hunters Guild. According to their vision, the guild would unite hunters under specific rules and regulations, promote the training of apprentices in the ways of hunting, and encourage hunters to collaborate with one another. To appease the Senate, the Creed's authors also outlined how the Guild and Jedi Order could work together to meet their goals. Many independent hunters were skeptical of the Guild's chances of success, but their attitude changed when they realized Guild members received advance notice on the Republic's highest-paying bounties. As for the Guild working with the Jedi, joint missions were problematic almost from the start, no doubt because the Jedi regarded bounty hunters as obstacles to their goal of conquering the Republic. Almost 900 years later, a schism occurred within the Guild when a faction of human Guild hunters formed a humans-only confederacy. All the members of this faction were killed in a massive explosion that destroyed the space station of Ektar, where they attempted to hold their first meeting. The cause of the explosion was never determined, but persistent rumors implied that a group of Guild hunters, one that included humans, was responsible for killing the defectors. After the deaths at Ektar, the Guild began vigorously campaigning to recruit hunters of many different species across the galaxy, and they promoted the Guild to a truly organization which it remains to this day. Even droids are allowed to join the Guild. So as you travel throughout the galaxy in service of the Bounty Hunter Guild, know that you are part of a long history of hunters. Remember the Guild Museum and Library holds thousands of biographies and instructional data tapes. The more you learn about your predecessors and their experiences, the better chance you'll have to survive misfortune, make a profit, and keep the Guild going for more generations to come.